You have been running for a long time. You have been moving with a frantic, bone-deep urgency that felt like a survival mechanism. A constant buzzing in your nervous system that told you, if you stopped for even a single second, everything would fall apart. You felt as though you were racing against a clock that no one else could see, chasing a destiny that always seemed to be 2 steps ahead of your reaching hands. But I am here to tell you that the frequency has shifted. The atmospheric pressure around your soul has changed. That frantic, heavy, breathless pace you've been forced to maintain is being dismantled by the divine. The transition is over. The frantic doing is being replaced by a crystalline knowing. Clarity is replacing urgency, and it is time for you to rest into it. Close your eyes for a moment and feel the weight of your own breath. For years, you have lived in a state of high alert. You felt it in your chest, that tightness, that phantom weight that made you feel like you had to solve every problem, heal every wound, and anticipate every attack before it even manifested in the physical realm. You were the fixer. You were the one who carried the emotional load of an entire lineage. You felt an urgent need to explain yourself, to prove your worth to people who were committed to misunderstanding you, and to build a life that felt safe in a world that felt increasingly hostile. You've had the headaches, the ones that sit right behind your eyes, born from over-calculating your next move. You felt the tension in your shoulders, carrying the burdens of ancestors who didn't have the strength to carry them themselves. But look around you. The fog is beginning to thin. Those sleepless nights where your mind looped through 1,000 what-ifs are being replaced by a strange, quiet stillness. You might have mistaken this stillness for stagnation. You might have felt guilty for not feeling busy or stressed lately. You've been conditioned to believe that if you aren't struggling, you aren't growing. You've been programmed by the Matrix to equate your value with your exhaustion. But that is the lie of the enemy. The divine does not move in panic. The Creator does not operate in a state of emergency. Have you noticed how the things that used to trigger a fight or flight response in you just weeks ago now seem distant, small, irrelevant? That person who used to drain your energy with their drama, suddenly, you no longer feel the urgent need to fix them or defend yourself against them. That career move or life change that felt like a life or death race, suddenly, you realize the door will open when it is time, and not a second before. This is not laziness. This is not you losing your edge. This is your frequency finally aligning with the truth. The urgency was a symptom of the climb. When you are ascending a steep mountain, your heart rate is high, your breath is short, and your focus is narrow. You are in survival mode, but you have reached the plateau. You are standing on the high ground now. From this height, you don't need to run, you need to see. The urgency served its purpose. It pushed you out of the valley. It moved you away from the toxic environments that were meant to swallow you whole. And it kept you moving when you wanted to give up, but you cannot live in a state of permanent escape. The divine is now whispering a new command to your spirit. Be still. Feel the cooling sensation in your mind. The static is clearing. You are starting to see the patterns of your life, not as chaotic accidents, but as a deliberate, sacred geometry. You are beginning to understand why certain doors had to slam shut in your face. You are beginning to see why certain people had to walk away, even when it broke your heart. The why is becoming clearer than the how. You no longer feel the desperate need to force things to happen. You are resting into the realization that what is for you cannot miss you, and what missed you was never for you. This is the season of the great unburdening. You are shedding the skin of the seeker and stepping into the skin of the seer. You are moving from the vibration of I must to the vibration of I am. Can you feel that? The way the air in the room feels lighter, the way your heart doesn't feel like it's being squeezed by invisible hands? This is the clarity of the chosen. You are being granted a divine perspective that allows you to look at your life through the eyes of the architect rather than the eyes of the worker. The rush is over. The clarity is here. And the only thing left for you to do is to stop resisting the peace. Rest your spirit. Let the urgency go. You are exactly where you are supposed to be. Why did the urgency feel so real? Why did your soul feel like it was vibrating at a frequency of constant, impending disaster? You must understand that this was not a flaw in your character. It was a spiritual, atmospheric condition. You have been living in a war zone between two conflicting densities. The old world, the matrix. The systems of control runs entirely on the fuel of urgency. It demands that you hurry, that you compete, that you fear the future and regret the past. It creates a false ticking clock to keep your soul in a state of static, preventing you from hearing the silent, steady pulse of the divine. The spiritual cause of that frantic energy you've been carrying is a frequency mismatch. You were trying to build a kingdom life using the tools of a fallen world. You were trying to manifest your destiny through the lens of survival. But the divine has been systematically stripping that survival instinct away from you, because you can no longer go where you are headed while carrying the vibration of not enough time. The Creator is recalibrating your internal clock to match the rhythm of eternity. This shift, this sudden, quiet clarity is the result of a massive, energetic shield being placed around your mind. For years, you were spiritually porous. You were picking up on the collective anxiety of the world, the hidden agendas of the people around you, and the desperate vibrations of the entities that feed on human stress. You felt urgent because they were urgent. You felt panicked because the world around you is panicking as its foundations begin to crumble. But the divine has pulled you back. You have been placed in a spiritual void space, a sanctuary of silence where the noise of the world can no longer reach your core. Think of the headaches you've had, the sudden bouts of fatigue that forced you to lay down in the middle of the day. Those weren't just physical ailments. Those were forced downloads. Your DNA is being restructured to handle a higher voltage of light. You cannot run a high-voltage current through old, frayed wires. The urgency was the sound of your old wires sparking and burning out. The clarity you feel now is the result of the new wiring being activated. The divine had to slow you down, sometimes through illness, sometimes through isolation, and sometimes through the sudden collapse of your plans. Because your frantic movement was creating too much noise for you to hear your instructions. You were vibrating too high for the low-level chaos of your environment. And that friction created heat. That heat felt like anxiety. It felt like a need to do something or go somewhere. But the spiritual truth is that you have already arrived. You are in the transition phase where your physical reality is catching up to your spiritual rank. There is a divine law of displacement at work here, as the light of your true purpose fills your vessel. There is no longer any room for the shadows of doubt or the parasites of urgency. The shadows are being pushed out. And as they leave, they kick and scream, making you feel like you're losing control. But you aren't losing control. You are losing the illusion of control, which is the greatest gift a chosen one can receive. The urgency was a leash. The enemy used it to keep you tethered to the rat race of spiritual seeking. As long as you were desperately seeking the next healing, the next prophecy, or the next breakthrough, you weren't standing in your power. You were a beggar at the gates of your own kingdom. But the divine has broken that leash. The clarity you are experiencing is the realization that the kingdom is not something you are running toward. It is something you are radiating from within. You broke a rule of the Matrix. You stopped believing in the deadline. You stopped believing that you were running out of time. And the moment you stopped believing in time, the spirit of truth moved in. This is why you feel so detached lately. This is why things that used to matter, the opinions of others, the milestones of the world, seem like distant echoes. You have entered the secret place mentioned in the ancient texts. You are under the shadow of the Almighty. And in that shadow, there is no clock. There is only the eternal now. The spiritual reason for this rest is preparation. You are being tempered like steel. Steel is heated in the fire that was your season of urgency and trial, but then it must be plunged into the stillness of the water to set its strength. You are in the water now. Do not fight the cooling. Do not mistake the quiet for a lack of movement. Deep, tectonic shifts are happening beneath the surface of your life. The divine is moving mountains while you sleep. The clarity is the evidence that the work is being done for you, rather than by you. You have graduated from the labor of the flesh to the flow of the spirit. The Matrix is panicking because it can no longer track you. For years, the enemy, the narcissists in your life, the energy vampires at your job, the toxic family members who claim to love you, thrived on your urgency. They fed on your frantic need to please them, to explain yourself, and to fix the chaos they intentionally created. Your stress was high. Your confusion was their power. But now, as clarity replaces your urgency, they are losing their grip on your soul, and they are terrified. Have you noticed the shift in their behavior lately? Perhaps they have become more aggressive, more desperate to pull a reaction out of you. They are poking at your old wounds, bringing up past mistakes, or creating emergencies out of thin air, hoping to trigger that old, familiar panic in your chest. They are looking for the chosen one who used to run in circles trying to make everyone happy. But they can't find you. When they look into your eyes now, they don't see the flickering light of a candle struggling to stay lit in the wind. They see the steady, blinding glare of a lighthouse. The enemy is scared because silence is the one language they cannot translate. As long as you were reacting, you were predictable. As long as you were urgent, you were manageable. But a chosen one who is at rest is a chosen one who is dangerous to the kingdom of darkness. Your peace is a weapon of mass destruction against the illusions of the Matrix. When you rest into it, you are essentially saying to the entire demonic hierarchy, your weapons no longer prosper here because I no longer believe in the fear you are selling. The narcissists in your circle are sensing that they have lost their supply. They are starting to realize that their voice, which used to thunder in your mind, has been reduced to a pathetic whisper. They hate your clarity. They hate that you are no longer rushing to their rescue. They hate that you can see right through their masks. To them, your newfound calm looks like arrogance. It looks like acting better than them. But in reality, it is simply the frequency of the divine protecting its own. You have moved into a high-frequency, no-fly zone, and they are grounded on the runway of their own misery. The Matrix is trying to recalibrate its attack. Since it can no longer use fear to control you, it will try to use concern. You will hear them say things like, "You've changed," or "I'm worried about you. You seem so distant." This is a spiritual trap. They are trying to make you feel guilty for your peace. They want you to feel like your rest is a betrayal of the people who need you. But you must understand, they don't need your help. They need your energy. And the divine has officially cut off their power cord. Why are they so afraid of your rest? Because a rested chosen one is a focused chosen one. When you were in urgency, your energy was scattered. You were like a shotgun blast, hitting everything but piercing nothing. Now that you have clarity, Your energy is like a laser. You are beginning to see the glitch in the matrix in every room you walk into. You can feel the lies before they are even spoken. You can sense the hidden agendas beneath the polite smiles. This makes you a threat to the status quo. The world is built on the backs of the exhausted. The systems of this world require you to be tired, broke, and anxious, so that you remain dependent on their solutions. By resting into your clarity, you are staging a spiritual coup. You are showing the world that you are no longer a slave to the clock or the dollar. You are showing them that your source is not the government, not your boss, and certainly not the approval of people who are spiritually dead. The enemy's reaction is your greatest confirmation. If they are getting louder, it is because you are getting stronger. If they are getting more desperate, it is because they know their time is up. They can feel the shift in the atmosphere just as much as you can. They know that once a chosen one stops running, they start ruling. Your stillness is the sound of their defeat. Do not let their noise pull you out of your sanctuary. Stay in the rest. Let them scream into the void. Their authority over you ended the moment you decided that your peace was non-negotiable. The universe does not operate on a deadline, and neither does the soul that is aligned with it. You must understand the metaphysical law that governs this transition, the law of divine timing. For years, you lived under the law of effort, believing that your output was the only thing standing between you and your destruction. But the truth of the kingdom is that your position is what determines your provision. You are moving from the theology of the hustle to the theology of the inheritance. This is the deeper prophecy for your life right now. You are being prepared for a massive stewardship. The divine cannot give a kingdom to a person who is constantly out of breath. If you are too busy running, you cannot hold the scepter. If your hands are clenched in anxiety, they cannot be open to receive the crown. The reason the urgency has been replaced by clarity is that you are being installed into a higher office of spiritual authority. In the physical world, the higher the rank, the less frantic the movement. The foot soldier runs, the general sits in the war room and observes the map. You are being moved from the front lines of the struggle into the war room of the spirit. Look at the ancient blueprints of creation. The sun doesn't hurry to rise. Yet the day begins exactly when it should. The seasons do not compete with one another. Yet the harvest always arrives. You are a part of this organic, celestial rhythm. The prophecy of the rest is a specific calling for the 144. Ling Ling Ling, the remnant, and the chosen ones of this timeline. It is the realization that the great work is already finished. When the Creator rested on the seventh day, it wasn't because he was tired. It was because the work was complete and perfect. Your life is entering its Sabbath season. The clarity you are feeling is a spiritual X-ray vision. You are starting to see the invisible threads of cause and effect. You are beginning to understand that every delay was a protection, and every no was a redirection toward a greater yes. This is the divine plan in action. The universe had to strip away your reliance on your own strength so that it could demonstrate its own. You are being shown that you are not a cog in the machine of the matrix. You are a co-creator with the infinite. In this new frequency, your thoughts have more weight because you are no longer scattering your energy in a dozen directions of panic. Your focused intent is now manifesting reality at an accelerated rate. This is why clarity is so vital. You must see clearly so that you can decree correctly. If you are still vibrating in urgency, you will manifest more chaos. But if you rest into the clarity, you will manifest the order of heaven. The truth is this: you have already won the battles that you are still worried about fighting. In the realm of the eternal, your victory is a historical fact. The only thing left is for the physical movie of your life to play out until it reaches that scene. Why would you run through a movie when you already know the ending is a triumph? Why would you stress over the plot twists when you know the director is your greatest ally? The clarity is the script being handed to you. You are reading ahead. You see the breakthrough in chapter 10. So you no longer cry during the trials of chapter 5. You see the restoration of your finances. So you no longer tremble at the bills of today. You see the soul tribe that is coming to meet you. So the current loneliness no longer feels like a prison. It feels like a sacred preparation. This is the metaphysical rest of the chosen. It is an unshakable confidence in the character of the Creator. The urgency was your ego trying to save itself. The clarity is your spirit, knowing it is already safe. The world will tell you that you are falling behind. But the word tells you that the last shall be first. You are being catapulted into a position of influence that requires a calm mind and a steady hand. Rest into this truth. The urgency was a shadow. The clarity is the sun. And the sun does not need to hurry to prove its power, it simply shines. And the darkness has no choice but to vanish. Now, take a deep, intentional breath. Feel the air filling your lungs, expanding your chest. And as you exhale, feel the last remnants of that synthetic urgency leaving your body. It is time to seal this frequency. It is time to lock in the clarity that has been gifted to you and close the door on the chaos of the past forever. You are not just listening to a message. You are undergoing a spiritual activation. You are being grounded into the new earth frequency, where peace is your power and stillness is your primary weapon. Your first practical step is the holy disregard. From this moment forward, when the world demands your panic, you will give it your silence. When a situation arises that used to make your heart race, you will pause, count to 3, and remind yourself, I am a chosen one. My timing is divine. I do not run, I arrive. You must practice the art of being unhurried. Walk slower. Speak with more intention. Let the people around you feel the coolness of your spirit. By refusing to match the frantic vibration of the matrix, you are effectively dismantling its influence over your physical reality. Let us seal this energy with a decree of power. If you are in a safe place, speak these words aloud, letting the vibration of your own voice resonate in the space around you. I am the chosen. I am the seer. I renounce the spirit of urgency, and I embrace the spirit of truth. I step out of the timeline of struggle and into the timeline of sovereign rest. Every cell of my body is now aligning with the frequency of divine clarity. I am no longer a slave to the clock. I am no longer a victim of the what if. I am anchored in the I am. The weapons of the enemy, the noise, the guilt, and the confusion have no landing strip in my soul. I am covered. I am guided. I am arriving at my destiny with every resting breath. It is finished. It is done. And so it is. Can you feel the shift? The air in the room has changed. The heavy mantle of doing has been lifted from your shoulders, and the light garment of being has been placed upon you. You are now moving in a state of flow, state sovereignty. You will find that as you rest into this clarity, the solutions you've been chasing will start chasing you. The people you've been trying to find will find you. The resources you've been worried about will manifest as soon as you stop staring at the lack. Your instruction for the next 7 days is simple. Do not force anything. If a door is stuck, do not kick it. Wait for the key. If a conversation is draining, do not fix it. Walk away. Your energy is too precious to be spent on the friction of the old world. You are being preserved for something massive. And preservation requires stillness. Trust the process. Trust the silence. Trust the God who called you out of the darkness and into this marvelous light. Before you go, I want you to claim this shift. If you feel the weight of this clarity, comment, "I rest in my power," below. Let the universe see your signature on this new contract. Subscribe to this frequency and hit the notification bell so you never lose your alignment when the world gets loud. You are part of a global awakening of the remnant, and your piece is a vital piece of the puzzle. Go now, not in a rush, but in a state of grace. The urgency is dead. Clarity is your new home. Rest into it. You are exactly where you are supposed to be. And the best part of your journey hasn't even begun yet. We will speak again soon. Until then, stay in the light. Stay in the rest. And stay chosen.